Aren't you interested in learning breakthrough wealth building strategies, such as how to flip a home in less than 2 weeks using other people's money with no real estate license, or how to build a low-cost home-based business? You can discover how to take passive income from any source and invest it into real estate, stocks, or business to become financially independent investing in any market with Residual Roads Business Institute. Collaborate with Andre and other Residual Roads advisors to create a free action plan and start implementing strategies today. Go to www.residualroads.com or email info@residualroads.com. Welcome to the Investing Uncensored podcast. You've been searching for different ways to become financially independent or generate passive income to live out your life's purpose as you've seen others do it, but need insight on how. Well, get excited because here you'll discover the tips and resources to fulfill that need. Andre Stewart has spent more than a decade successfully making it happen for himself and others. This is the Investing Uncensored podcast. And now here's your host, Andre Stewart.
Welcome to another episode of Investing Uncensored. I'm your host, Andre Stewart. And today I want to talk to you guys about taking the red pill. If you've never seen the movie The Matrix, I think you should go back and take a look at that movie to understand what I'm referencing with the red pill, or you can just Google it and the information will come up. But I think that the red pill is kind of like Limitless. You know what I mean? I think you should watch that movie as well with Bradley Cooper. I think the red pill and Limitless is basically knowledge. And I'm not talking about just knowledge in a particular subject. I'm talking about overall knowledge about navigating life, relationships, business, finances. It's everything. When you took the red pill in the Matrix, it just turned you into a beast, like holistically, not like, in the one or two things, like you were a monster. In Limitless, when Bradley Cooper took the pill, he could do everything outside of like karate and stuff like that, but he can just do everything else with his mind. That's what knowledge is. And so these movies, they reference that. And one thing I want to say really fast is I think that movies have some truth to them. The Matrix came out in 1999. If you look at that back then and look at what's going on right now, I heard Elon Musk one time say he thinks we're living in a simulation. And that's what the Matrix was. And it's kind of like one of those things. It's like, man, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole. But Google the theory of us living in a simulation and look at like all of the subsequent events that are happening right now in succession, which is, is super weird and it's super weird. But look it up. But anyway, I think you guys should look at all of the Matrix movies and look at what's going on right now and look at Limitless and see if you can make the connection to what I'm saying. It's interesting. But anyway, I think that we're in a very horrible era of misinformation because it's like when you come to this earth, you're basically by default given the blue pill. And it's meant that way for a reason. There's a thing with almost all countries trying to control their societies in a certain way. And I think it's like I said, it's taking the blue pill because when you come to this earth, you only know what you're told and what you're taught. The people that do get that red pill, man, the possibilities that open up is basically endless. Like there's no limit to what you can do. And that's kind of why I like Limitless, because that, again, Bradley Cooper took a pill and it just made him unstoppable. And they tried to slow him down. And it's like people that got knowledge, well, like look at Elon Musk, for instance. Like this dude obviously is on the pill. He probably took the red pill and the Limitless pill because he's just beasting like that. But look what they're trying to do to him. And if you look back at, all the other greats that made people think they try to get outside of the box, there's, something always came. But education is the key, man. And so if you guys want to get to the next level, you're going to have to take the red pill, which was knowledge, man. I'm not talking about knowledge with just one particular subject. When you took the red pill or Limitless, it just made you a monster. You just knew everything. You could calculate. You could do everything within a split second. Obviously, you're not out here doing karate and stuff like that, but like it just made your mind extremely sharp. When you're educated on finances, on relationships, on people, on everything, it just makes you that much sharper. It also obviously increases your IQ. which is, how you get to the next level in this reality. You know what I mean? If you go to those movies, obviously they're movies, but there's truth to those movies. You know what I mean? Like 1999 was a while back, but that movie is very close to what we have going on right now. Like, look at what's going on with the metaverse. Look at like Sim City. Look at all these different things, man. And it's like, I've referenced this before, I think, when I said I think we live in a simulation because everything is so connected. I remember like when I was 12, I was telling this guy I wanted the car that he had. He was my neighbor. And he's like, you'll never get this car, man. Whatever. This is mine. You're never getting it. Just talking smack to me. And I'm like, bro, I'm going to get this car one day. When I was 15, my dad said, oh, man, I got your car for your birthday. You got to go to the church and pick it up. I didn't know what car it was, but I just remembered, telling this dude. And my dad said, oh, go get it from this guy. He told me the guy. I didn't know which car it was. I get to the church. I go find the guy. And I'm like, I told you I was going to get this car. I saw the car in the parking lot when I got there. And so I knew he was there. So then I was like, that is the car. Because I wasn't sure which one it was. And I walked up to him like, I told you I was going to get this car. And he was like, whatever. And he had to give me the keys. And so that happened. And then I went to Oral Roberts University, which is a Christian school. So when I was in the 9th grade, I played ball and we made it to the national championship. And my school was a Christian high school. So we ended up going to Oral Roberts to do our national championship game. And so there I was like, man, I want to go to school here one day because I just had a great experience when I was there for the week for that whole tournament. That was 9th grade. The following year, I switched back to public school and we had seniors. And Oral Roberts came to my high school to recruit some of the upperclassmen. And they seen me. I was putting like 6'9" dudes, balls up against the backboard, blocking it. And I was just having a good practice that day. And they liked me. And so I ended up going to Oral Roberts and trying to do my thing there with basketball. And again, man, it just like, how do all of these things just happen like that? And I believe in the laws of attraction. But if you think about your own life experiences and anything that you focused on, did it come to pass? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you really put like, what do they say? What you think about, you bring about. Or energy flows where your attention goes. All of these different things. It's like, are these things all connected? Or do we live in some weird reality? I was looking at this one video. Elon Musk was talking about the probability of us living in a simulation is very high. But if you look at what's happening in the metaverse, if you look at what's happening with SimCity and all these different things, it's so real. It's so real. And if you think about how long we've been here, I mean, the Earth is however many billion years old. The life existence, if you look at like the Milky Way galaxy, it's said to be the equivalent to the grain of sand on a beach. That's how insignificant our galaxy is in the grand scheme of things. So if you think about all these things and how long we've been here, why couldn't people have come before us and do exactly what we're doing right now? And so one guy said that if the sim or that metaverse or whatever we have going on right now gets to the point of where our reality, it gets to the point of where it's so real that we can't distinguish the difference between our reality and the metaverse or something like that, then we're indefinitely living in a simulation. And so I'm just saying that to say like all of our things are interconnected and like, we come to this earth blank. So we have to pull from somewhere. Movies are real. I don't watch movies the same because I was a commercial actor and I was in entertainment for a while. I was a drama major for a little bit until I switched. But so I watched everything differently. I just watched the behind the scenes, or I watched the like, how did they do this? Where did this come from? How did they do the casting? I just watched stuff differently. And I'm like, movies come from somewhere, man. Like you have to pull from somewhere because you just can't be like, boom, I came up with the TV. You had to reference something to even formulate the thought of a TV. Like it doesn't come out of nowhere. So like the Matrix, where'd it come from? Aliens, where'd it come from? Like all these different things, man. There's 14 planets within our galaxy and they're all seemingly in order. I mean, I'm not going on this rabbit hole, but I'm just saying like, think about life in a different way and how you approach it. And I think the way you do that is through having a lot of knowledge. Once you get the red pill, I was telling my friend the other day, he's so annoyed with how things are going on in the US. And I took him with me to Colombia like 5 years ago. And I said, I guarantee you that when you go with me to Colombia, your life is going to be completely different. And he went with me and his life changed. He's never been the same. So it's one of those things, it's like once you take the red pill, which is knowledge, and you start to understand what's going on around you, it's very, very hard for you to operate a certain type of way because when you know better, you do better. And so the more knowledge you get, the more traveling you do, it's like you took the red pill and now you know. It's like it just makes your opportunities in your life limitless in the things that you can accomplish because you know better. And so now you operate completely different than what you did before when you was ignorant and you were in the dark. And I think that's what the groundwork is when when you're here or any country. I mean, I think if you take the blue pill because you have no choice because that's what you're given at birth, then you're stuck in this ignorance and you don't know any different. And so if you don't get out and start seeing other places, then you're not gonna know. If you just follow the narrative of what they push in the media or just what you following on social media, and all these things are based on algorithms. So whatever you follow is what you're gonna get the most in your feed. You got to start expanding. You got to start moving outside of this because that's how you make things happen. It's a mindset shift that needs to take place, and that's all those things are. Like all these movies are telling you a story. All these things are subliminal and trying to give you a hint on how to access the potential of what your body really can do. It's like ninjas. If you look up, the history behind ninjas and what they're capable of doing and how some ninjas are able to slow down their breathing enough to fog up a window with their hand. I mean, like, I'm telling you, man, if we're only using 10% of our brain to function, and some people are using less than that, just imagine tapping into 20, like 15 or even 20 to 25% of your brain. You know how much you can accomplish. Like, that's why people, with me, I think my IQ is like 140, 145. That's in like the 2% of the population. Elon Musk's IQ is, I think, like, I don't know, 180 or 200 or some crazy like that. You know what I mean? So it's like being able to tap into other parts of your brain, it only comes through being able to educate yourself. It comes through knowledge. It comes through, some people are obviously born, you have to be born gifted. Some people just work hard. And obviously, again, the more knowledge you gain, the higher your IQ is going to go anyway. But some people that are gifted, you just have the ability to retain information and regurgitate it a lot faster. And that's what I can do. Like, I have a photographic memory. I can look at something anyway. Different people have different abilities, but you can still gain knowledge by going online, studying, and doing the extra stuff to basically give yourself an upper hand on other people. And so that's what I think knowledge is, the red pill to a certain degree. I think you guys should figure out how to access your limitless potential, man, because that will allow you to navigate any situation. It doesn't matter what country it's in, because once you start tapping into knowledge, it's very hard to go back. Like, I was talking to this guy in the gym from Dubai when I was in Medellin. We was in the same building, and it's so weird. And our energies had to be very similar. They were. Within 10 minutes of me going to lift weights, he would show up. After I got to the gym, he would be there 10 to 15 minutes, or vice versa. Like, he would be in the gym, and then when I showed up, I would show up 10 or 15 minutes after he got there. It didn't matter what time it was. I could have went to the gym at 11. He came. Or I could have went to the gym at 2. He was in there. Even at night, I would go to the pool. He was at the pool already. Or I would be in the pool, and he would come 10 or 15 minutes after I had gotten the pool. And so one day we were just talking, and he had been there for like 8 months. And he was like, man, he was 53 years old. He was like, the amount of information that we would, because we would just talk. You know how in the gym you're just talking. He was like, man, the people, if the walls could talk, is basically what he said. He said, the information that we're sharing between each other right now, he said, you can't get this. And we were just talking about a lot of different things of what I'm sharing right now. It's like your energy just pulls people in, and you don't even know it. Like, once you start moving and operating and thinking on a different plane, you start having these different people or these different relationships come into your life out of nowhere. You know what I mean? And so me and this dude just connected, and he put me on a couple of different supplements Because as you start to get older, a lot of things start to decline because that's just what happens, right? That's just the natural laws of life. And so you start to need to take certain things unless you're eating the proper foods and you're doing the right things, which a lot of people don't have time for.
Have you ever thought to yourself, I wish I could get into real estate investing? You can change this as quickly or as slowly as you want to now. Imagine yourself networking and making new connections in real estate globally, or buying an investment property in a market or country that fits your needs. People do. They know what I'm talking about, and now you can too with InvestFar. Connect and join the network. Remote investing made safe and easy.
So then he was talking to me about different supplements you got to take in. Just a bunch of different things that you need to perform at a high level. And this all goes back to knowledge. Like I was already on majority of the stuff that he said, I was taking everything. We were that. He's 17 or 18 years older than me. And he was like, man, he's like, dude, you're on it. He said, man, by the time you get my age, he's like, you're gonna be killing it. He's obviously been here and he's traveled, and I'm on the same track record on the pathway that he was. And this dude has been to like 180 countries, and he was a beast, man. And he was like, man, I wish people knew. And he was like, he said, you took the red pill. He said that. He's like, you took the red pill, huh? And I was like, that, but I thought the same thing. Yeah, I thought the same thing that he did. And he was like, man, the amount of disinformation that's out here. And once people can actually tap into the stuff that we're talking about, he's like, it's almost impossible to go back. You move differently. Your life is different. You own private planes. You hanging around with the elite. Like your life is just completely different. But in order for you to do that, you have to wake up. And once you wake up, that goes along with taking the right supplements to make sure that your brain is sharp. That goes with the right nutrition. That goes with getting the right sleep. And so I don't do well with sleeping. Just because I don't, for whatever reason, because my brain, again, there's a gift and a curse having a brain that's very active. And so he was telling me about this thing called magnesium glycinate. I didn't even know this, but after he told me about it, I looked it up, and 60 or 70% of the population is magnesium deficient, and that will kill your sleep. And I never knew that. But once I started taking it, I sleep so well now. I sleep so good. And that's one of the things that I read, after he told me about it, I went and looked it up. That changed my life because if I only sleep 4 to 5 hours. And so sleep is important. And I was telling someone, if I could sleep 8 hours, the world needs to watch out. Because I'm like, I don't need that much energy because I'm going to be on 10. And I'm just moving through life at, 4 to 5 hours right now. If I can get 10, it's over. Or 8 or 10, it's over. And so that magnesium glycinate easily gets me like 6 or 7 hours of sleep now. Now I'm just like, it's a wrap. Because again, it's like the limitless pill, man. So it's like these different things, man, are huge with making you successful and changing up your thought process and your mindset. If you don't have all the tools and resources to function at a high level, you'll never be able to achieve your greatness that you have. And so the only way that you can do that is by, again, man, getting more and more knowledge on what makes your body operate at the highest level and the most efficient on a limited amount of sleep, or figuring out how to put your body at rest at night so you can maximize or get the maximum sleep so you're prime and ready for the next day. And another thing that I have a Whoop. You should look that up, WHOOP. That's another thing that I use to figure out how to maximize the amount of sleep that I've gotten. So if I've gotten 4.5 hours of sleep, my Whoop is going to tell me you can only take on this level of strain today, or you're at a sleep deficit. So tomorrow you need to try to sleep 10 hours a day. It breaks down my O2 levels. It just does so much stuff, man. So like me having a Whoop has changed my life significantly because now I have data to understand what I can do with my body that day. And again, it goes back to just having more knowledge. I have the knowledge on everything about me. So now I can go throughout and be as productive as possible based on the amount of information that I know from that day or my previous day or the accumulation of the whole month or the week. Now I know how to move, and now I know what to change. And so before, when I didn't have this data, I would go to the gym or I would just go throughout the day and try to understand why I'm so tired or whatever the case is. But now I know. So now I'm performing at a higher level overall because on days that I know that I'm not doing well, I will not work. Oh no, I always work. I will take it easier on those days. And then the next day, I will do something to get more sleep. And so then that following day, then I know I'm going to be at a higher level where I can work out. I can swim that night. I can do like 1,000 different projects. I can go train my son in basketball. I can do so much because now I know, what my body's able to take on that day. And so that's why I think, man, knowledge is the same thing. Like the more you know, the more you can go out here and do. And I think that me doing what I've done over the past couple of years, it just has made my opportunities in life limitless because you always hear me tell you guys to do certain things because you see it coming ahead of time. For one, because you have the knowledge and the history and the data to pull from. So you are able to come from a place of strength with your decision making and know that you're making a calculated decision. And it's actually not a risk because it's not like you don't know what you're doing. You have the information to make a sound decision. And that's again why I think you guys should get the red pill. Get it now, take it. And then on top of that, take the Limitless pill too. And the Limitless pill is supplements, getting your life together with sleep, health, food, exercise. All of these things are connected. That's the Limitless part. And then the red pill is the knowledge. And when you add those other things to the knowledge, that means you have the stamina. That means you're firing on all cylinders at one time. And then that's it. Nobody can stop you from that point. The only person that can stop you is yourself. I was telling my same friend, like, a lot of times, and I'm a guy, so I can say this, but guys lose sight of who they are. They wonder why their girl is treating them a certain type of way. And it's like, man, you have to make yourself a hard person to replace. Most people are replaceable. What I mean by that is if you're working at McDonald's, your girlfriend can go to another McDonald's and find someone doing the same thing that you're doing. I'm just saying, I'm not knocking the McDonald's job, but I'm saying like you are replaceable. That's you easily replaceable because she can just go to the next McDonald's and find another dude that's doing the same thing that you're doing. But can you go and find another Elon Musk? Your woman is, or most women are attracted to someone who's ambitious or has something going. That's a lot more attractive. I mean, guys are attracted to the same thing. Like guys like, obviously guys like women for different attributes, but a person that is on another level of trying to get to the next level, he's going to look for a partner or she's going to look for a partner equally the same. So if men or women are out here dating guys that they feel like they're dating down, that relationship is not going to last that long. So like I was telling him, you need to make yourself irreplaceable. Whether you have 2 or 3 businesses going or you're doing this or you're doing that, it's going to be really hard for your girl to go out there and find somebody who's doing what you're doing. And the same thing for her. If your girl is ambitious and she's in shape, she works out, she takes care of herself, and she does all of these things, it's not a lot of women out here. It's more now than it used to be who are into fitness, who are into health, who are trying to get to the next level, who are ambitious, who want to be a housewife, cook and clean, raise kids, and work out, and try to get in their career. Like, that's really, really hard to find. Ideally, you want to make yourself hard to replace. You want your girl or your boyfriend to think twice about cheating on you. You want them to think like, man, I don't want to lose my best friend, or I don't want to lose this person because I'm going to have to go through 5 or 6 or 7 or more guys to even get someone remotely close to this person. And so if you're not doing that, I mean, what's going to make you any different for your girl out of, she should have morals or he should have morals anyway. But what would make them not, if you messing up or not doing something, what would make them not want to go look further to find the next dude that worked at, like I said, McDonald's or wherever he worked at? Like, yeah, I mean, you're not making it hard for her or him to think twice before they go out there and do some dumb shit. And so that's why I think people need to make themselves irreplaceable. And the same thing with a job. Like, that's one of the ways to build a certain amount of income. I was reading this book called 7 Years of 7 Figures, and most of the people in the parables, they had careers and they made themselves replaceable in their career, and they were able to keep their job and make 7 figures at their job because they came up with something or they did something that made them irreplaceable. And so that goes the same way in relationships. And so I was telling him, man, he was just telling me stories about some of his friends, and I'm like, bro, they didn't make themselves irreplaceable. And I think that's what you got to do if you're in a relationship. You want your significant other to think twice about what it is. Even when it comes to business or anything like that, partnerships or whatever, you just got to make yourself that dude or that girl that everyone's like, we need that person. If they're not around, this business is not going to run a certain type of way, because then you don't have to worry about getting kicked out of your job or being replaced out of your business, being replaced in your relationship. I'm not saying that someone can cheat on you or whatever the case is, even if you're performing at a high level. But I'm just saying it'll make them think twice about it, or it'll make them think twice about firing you, or whatever the case is in every scenario. So you kind of always want to strive to be the best, and that goes through, like I said, doing the red pill and taking that limitless pill. And it goes back to all those things that are connected to that in the real world. So get the knowledge, get the health, get the supplements, and get everything you need to perform at a high level. Because, this is not going to get any better. You know what I mean? Like, if history is our guide, we're about to have a long couple of years, at least 3 to 4 years, if not longer, of what's going on in the economy and in the world right now. So, like I said before, 2020 on a podcast, be prepared for like a World War III and all kind of other stuff that go on. So, me just dropping this podcast real quick is to let you guys know, like, get as efficient and get as like solid as possible, so you can come out on the other side of this a whole different human being. And that's the goal, man. You every year you want to always be on the top of your game and come out better than you were the year before. And make it hard for your kids, man. Like, I told my son the other day, like, I'm setting the bar extremely high for you. And so you're going to have to do the same thing for your kids. And that's kind of what you want to do. That's how you leave a legacy. Anyway, guys, I wanted to hop on here real quick and do a quick podcast about, mindset, and hopefully you take something away from it. Man, go out there and be great. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.
Aren't you ready to start a business or grow your real estate investing portfolio? If you answered yes, allow Andre and the expert advisors at the Residual Roads Business Institute to fast track and put you on a path to full-time investing. The greatest transfer of wealth in our lifetime is occurring over the next few years, and you can take advantage if you know what to look for. In order to be successful at real estate investing, you need to learn how to leverage your current resources to generate quick money, big money, and retirement money. Let Residual Roads advisors craft a plan to get you through these phases using little or no money in 6 months or less. Don't wait for a job. Create one for yourself and others. Go to residualroads.com for mentorship, and for our free course, go to residualroads.thinkific.com.